arrived in race number 10 for the Mexico City Grand Prix in the ERL INDYCAR series. On board with one of the McLarens, I believe this is INDYCAR. Yes, it is. Starting 14th for the Italian. But to run down your grid order, Prix for Hyperdrive Racing taking pole position in front of Daf Sanchez and Elliot Deli, then Rodney Sola. So behind Prix, you've got a cavalcade of Formula E alumni. Deli, of course, coming back to INDYCAR during Formula E's time off. Then Davy Circular and teammates Bill Buns in the 5. Carson Thornburg will start 7th from Devin Butler and Tommy. Then Zach Wallace and Marcus Nelson to round out the top half of the pack. Max Borkar will start 12th with the championship leader, whose qualifying performances and even race performances haven't really been impressing. Then it's the McLaren duo of Linus Eriksson and Tenali Gabo. Charles Hernandez will start this race in 15th from Milsos Micah and last time out race winner Enoch Yu. Then Niven Colby, Ghosted, David Camno, Dominic Hudson and Hexel Mark will round out the grid order. So 25 points for a race win, 1 point more for the fastest lap is 26. You multiply that by 3 and you get 78. That's how many points are on offer leaving this race. Add another 26 to that and you realise that I can't do maths too well anymore. No. It's about 104 points on offer, including this race here in Mexico. And of course the track configuration different to the usual race that we've often seen in Mexico. That's mainly just because the stadium section and the opening few turns is always so tricky that the contract that we had with that specific track configuration has been terminated. But we're on board with Prix then, heading down into the final turn. Hyperdrive Racing, they've always been front runners this season, but they've rarely, if ever, have had race-winning pace. But the pace car pulling into the pits at the end of this lap. Can Prix take victory today here in Mexico, or will Sanchez, Deli, or even Rodney Sola take victory here in the 10th round of ERL Formula E Series 2? Boogity, 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 let's go racing, drivers! Decent getaway for Prix, getting the gaps he needed. That's one of the red cars. That's Devin Butler into turn 1. What a launch from Butler, almost runs into the back. How is he already up into 5th? Enoch Yu moves up into 13th, and off the track goes David Camino. That's with Linus Eriksson, the 88 and the 8, both into the wall, both of them carrying Earnhardt Jr.'s number, and both of them off the track coming through the first chicane. It's about to say we made it through the opening lap relatively cleanly, but of course with Enoch Yu's 5-second time penalty, he did get a lot of positions off the start. And of course, Camino and Eriksson's tussles not quite as clean as possible. Prix pulled 2 seconds here. Sanchez and Deli fighting side by side for seconds. And Elliott's gone off the track. A track limits warning's gone to him. Devin Butler, just to talk about his start, he's up into 5th now. That was really impressive for a man in his first full-time IndyCar season. As they now head towards the start-finish straight, lap 3 of 13. Sanchez with the fastest third sector of anybody. On board we go with Sola. Attack mode is online, but he's not using it. He's using attack charge or push to pass, as it's known here. Instead, has to take a little bit more curb than usual, and he's alongside with Elliot Deli. Heading through turn 3, Marcus Nelson with a time penalty for causing a collision, seemingly with Max Borkar. Sola has taken 3rd away from Deli, and he's now on the back of Daf Sanchez, and a full course caution, and that's for the race leader. Race leader Oakley has just wrecked at that chicane, and a full course caution on lap 3. Hyperdrive Racing not able to take victory here today. We're on board with Carson Thornburg. Max Borkar, he's up into the points finally. And we're going to get back racing quite quickly. Solar now has the chance to take a victory away from Sanchez as we now get back underway. Last time Ronnie raced against Dav Sanchez, Sanchez was driving for Audi. Like App Schaeffler Audi Sport. It's been so long since then. He's driven for Rowan Toyota and now is under the Andretti squad's wings. It's down the inside through the final turn for Ronnie Solar. Side by side in the race lead for the Briton. Car number 3 takes the lead, but now Sanchez with the attack mode, Butler also with attack mode, and Solar having to just slip back into the slipstream to make sure that he doesn't run into the back. But Butler into turn 1. He loves making moves here, has to hop off the track, but takes third, even with the track limits infringement. So it's Sanchez from Solar and Butler and off the track. Oh, slide for Ghosted. He's upside down. Ghosted upside down and out of the race. Tenali Gabba comes in as Hexel Mark also off the track. An OQ 10-second time penalty. And another full course caution on lap 4 of 13. Well, of course, we're going to have incidents like that when the pack is so close together. It's not really like a rubber band effect if the pack isn't really stretching out, to be honest. So it's more just nuclear fission, if anything, more fusion. But we get back underway. On board we go with Ronnie in the 3. Getting ever closer to the back of Dav Sanchez, using that push to pass to get up to the back of him. He's going to get alongside before they reach the final turn. And RQ's got 15 seconds worth of time penalties, the most in championship history, as Ronnie Solar's taken the lead, and he's pulled 1 second on Sanchez, who drops down to 3rd and comes into the pits. Lap 5 of 13, it's Solar from Butler and Elliot Daly, the top 2, both British drivers. That's a very, very unorthodox line there from the Prema Power Team driver in the 3 of Ronnie Solar. Looking back with car number 3 on the mediums. We're seeing a lot of drivers coming into the pits, but not Q still out there. Butler looking to the inside. Can Devin Butler take the lead in Mexico? He has done it, and he's into the wall. Solar wall rides. Gets hit by Delhi, does Butler. Segura moves up into P3 and Thornburg slides. A lot of sliding action. And oh! That's Hudson and Butler both out of the race. And Devin went flying that up full course caution. And RQ's come into the pits and he's come out in last, having served the biggest penalty in IndyCar history. Solar's got front wing damage. Delhi's got a 5-second time penalty, but no damage. And for Devin Butler and Dominic Hudson, they went out 1 lap too far with those softs and mediums. And that makes me really fear for both Thornburg and Michael, especially, to be more specific, just both Sims and both Chip Ganassi drivers, because whoever comes in last between those two is going to struggle a lot more, and it's going to have to be Thornburg who comes in second, because look at Delhi's monitor, 14%. He does dive into the pits. Got a cavalcade of drivers coming in. Carson Thornburg stays out on lap 6 of 13 on 30% tires, as Micah is second, also in the 30s. Gabo moves up into 3rd position and the net race lead with Dav Sanchez on his tail. Solar's coming out on the softs, which cannot do the full race distance from here on out, but we're on board with the 97. As Micah, the Polish driver, closing in. The 11 dives down the inside at turn 4, heads off the track, and out of the race goes Thornburg. Slide for Micah. Another full course caution. Lot of weaving there. Gabo will move up into P2, and Micah still facing backwards. And oh, contact with Sanchez. Both of them in the wall. That's a little Barnes coming through, and it's a blockade coming into turn 6. Hernandez with a time penalty, and it's a It's an entire blockade of Solar getting a 5-second time penalty. Another yellow flag in the second sector and another full course caution. Daf Sanchez out of this race. And that's all been caused by Milsars. And just unfortunate for not just Milsars, but also for Sanchez, who could have won this race. But honestly, that's going to shake up the entire configuration of this. Gabo is leading the way. Took second place last time out. Retired from Formula E to let Remy LeBeau take his seat at Sims. Finds the free seat at McLaren midway through Season 2 of INDYCAR. And he is flying. Lap 7 of 13 to Nally Gabo is still your race leader. Niven Colby with a time penalty, as his teammate has to pit soon, and does. In comes Milsar Smiker after causing absolute calamity. Through the opening chicane we go, and off the track goes Zach Wallace. A third track limits warning. He gets one more, and it's a slam dunk time penalty. 5 seconds if it is just another excursion off the track. But it will be 10 seconds, I've been told, if it's a corner cut as well. Look at how much curb that all the drivers are taking heading down that chicane. Look at that from Colby into the wall! And Q spins! Colby in the barriers as well. Front wing damage for the Sims driver. And for Sims Motorsport, their day has been ruined. For Q in the 25 Power Motorsports car, he's gone from victory in Brazil to devastation in Mexico. It's Groundhog Day for him. He's not out of this race still. He's in 15th with a 5-second time penalty. It's 20 seconds in total if we're counting the 15 he had before he came in. And the record for, sorry for hitting the mic there, but the record for the most amount of penalties in a race is 20 seconds. We've never seen more than 20. Hernandez comes in for his second stop. He's only done 2 laps on those mediums, and he goes on to another set. That could take him to the end of this race. Nelson with a 5-second time penalty in 8th, covered off by Hexel Mark there. You can see Colby and everyone taking so much more track than you expect. So look at this line. Gabo's gone off. Tenali Gabo, race leader, has hit the wall. And also off Rodney Sola. The man with a 5-second time penalty started in the top 5 already, and Camino's hit him too! Portcar went off the track as well. Championship leader Max Portcar hit the wall too. Camino also hit the wall after contact on the opening lap. But Yellow's in the second sector, in the middle sector rather. I was going to say the opener, but no. Colby with front wing damage. Portcar's got it too. And Sola's dropped down to 13th. He was in race-winning contention. And now Lil Buns on the back looks to the inside and takes the lead from Tenali Gabo, who is struggling on those hards without too much front grip. He has to come in, and he does come in. He's forced to do the 2-stop, but even then I feel like that's going to be the optimal strategy. That's a set of mediums going on for him. Hards going on, I think, for someone, but Hexel's going on to another set of softs. Off the track for Tommy. Almost hits Linus Eriksson as he now takes second position. Marcus Nelson throws up a lot of dust heading through there. Eriksson looking to the outside of Tommy. Heading out of turn 3. Into 4 they go. There's a possibility of a double overtake, but he just chooses not to. Heading through the chicane and out of the race for Lil Buns. Wall ride for the Ukrainian. 4 to the checkered flag. 4 to the white flag, rather. And it's another full course yellow. You know, at this rate, if you finish this race, you might be able to score points here. This is still very much the same characteristics of Mexico that we saw last season, just polished up quite a bit. Zach Wallace, the Italian driver, currently in 9th position, as Gabo track limits in 7th position. Goes alongside with Charles Hernandez. and takes 6th position using the attack mode. We just needed a different name for the aerodynamic push to pass, and just attack mode just made sense. Forward to the checkered, and Tommy is leading the pack. Milsauce Spiker moves up into 4th position in front of Elliott Daly, who is doing both INDYCAR and Formula E for the rest of the season. Moves up into 4th position there, into turn 1. Off the track though, at both possible opportunities, and that's kept Milsauce right alongside him. Tommy heading down into turn number 4 and 5. Over the Revolution Racing Man, he's in the wall! They're both in the wall! Ericsson's out! Linus Ericsson out of the race! Tommy's hit the wall, and a full course caution once more! And for Linus Ericsson and all of McLaren, that's just suboptimal. If Gabo wasn't going to dominate this race, then at least they would have had Ericsson to fight Tommy with. But now, the Swedish driver is out of this race. And the full course cautions are ending. If you've done more than 3 laps on your tyres, you can start struggling quite quickly. This might actually end up being a 3-stop. Look at the weaving that Enoch Hughes had to do there. Solar at the back of the pack, he needs to pick up the pace. Gabo moves up into P3 on those newer medium tyres. Wallace, 5-second time penalty, track limits for the man in the 55. Looks to try and down the inside, he can't. Hexel Mark, on the other hand, does. Moves in front of Elliott Daly, who's surely got a pit. Tommy does pit. So that will leave Tenali Gabo as your race leader, as Charles Hernandez moves up into 2nd for a second there, but he's still alongside with Hexel. Both drivers with attack mode, heading down into turn 1, and Hernandez just having to hold off from the pass. Max Bortcar started outside of the top 10. He's already up into 4th in this crazy Mexico City Grand Prix, or Grand Prix of Mexico City if you're inclined. Heading down through the chicane for Tenali, almost the wall, a wall that he's seen before, but Hernandez has hit it. Charles Hernandez slides, drops down to 4th position and loses part of his front wing, and Niven Colby out of the race. Out goes Niven. And you are driving these cars on a knife edge, so of course things like that are going to happen. Another full course caution on lap 11. Hernandez, of course, with that snapped front wing, he's going to be suffering everywhere. Because that's going to be a less aerodynamic ERL 01 car for sure. But we get back underway. Hernandez is going to start dropping down the order quite quickly, and Wallace gets past him there, up into 4th. So Carrera goes alongside and moves up into 5th. I don't think Hernandez is going to drop any further because he's likely to come into the pits, but Gabo will stay out, and these will be the tyres he will finish the race on. 3 laps on those mediums as we're on the penultimate lap here in Mexico. And for Tenali Gabo, his first IndyCar season, and he didn't even start at the start. He joined midway through, I'm pretty sure at Indianapolis, maybe the race before that. But Hexel Mark, in his 2nd season of IndyCar, looks to the inside. Will he lunge? He does lunge, and they're both at the wall! Gabo's out! Hexel Mark with front wing damage, but still in the race. On the penultimate lap, neither McLaren driver, both of them who led laps, but neither of them will walk away with even a finish. Bortcar is now up into 2nd position. That's the championship leader. This is going to make anyone trying to take the Drivers' Championship away from him feel so much more squeamish, because it's going to be a lot harder to do. Because if he's already on the podium, he's had a rough few races in IndyCar, has Bortcar, but still, these are the types of performances that he needs to put in. And Hexel doesn't have pace. Kamino's gone off the track further back, but for Max Bortcar, he can take the lead and win in Mexico. We round the final corner and we will start the final lap of the Grand Prix of Mexico. Attack mode for Bortcar, and they're already alongside before they reach the braking point. Bortcar is in fact ahead, and once they reach it, solidified. Championship leader Max Bortcar has taken the lead in Mexico. Zach Wallace right behind Hexel Mark, ready to capitalise, but it will be Davy Carrera if the two drivers in front of him fail to finish. Heading down into the first chicane, and we've got yellows, and that's Force, the Sims driver of Milsos Micah, who's off into the wall and has dropped down to the back of the pack. Yellows for Carrera, who's hit the wall. Out goes Tommy! Tommy out of the race, and we're under the full course cautions once again. Front wing damage for Davy Carrera, and this might bring a speedy end to procedures. It might actually not. I'm pretty sure that the full course cautions will be deactivated once we reach halfway down the main straight, but no. Full course cautions ending. 24% tire wear for Bortcar, but we are back underway in Mexico. And on the final lap, the World Drivers' Championship leader shows us all why he's the championship leader. Shows us all why he's been leading the championship all this time. Max Bortcar showing them how it's done. He's gonna win in Mexico. Hexel Mark comes across the line with second. Carrera will be classified in third, despite Wallace getting past him before the line. Solar there, having to defend from Charles Hernandez. And Hernandez on 9% mediums. He will make it to the end of this race, just about as Micah. Can he get past for the podium? This is the podium for Bortcar. After a troublesome race last time out in Brazil, this is exactly how he needed to bounce back. Hexel Mark, from starting at the back of the pack, finishes with a second place finish, and Davy Carrera of Brazil alongside him on the podium. Then it's David Camino, Elliot Deli, Zach Wallace, Marcus Nelson, and Not Q, Ronnie Sola, Charles Hernandez, and Milsos Micah, your finishers, with the non-finishers being Tommy, Tonelli, Gabo, Nevin Colby, Linus Erickson, Lil Buns, Dav Sanchez, Carson Thornburg, Dominic Hudson, Devin Butler, Ghosted, and Quee. And with Bortcar leading with standings by, my goodness me, 52 points. That's going to be really tough to beat. That's 2 race wins, the margin. That's how far he is in front of Elliot Deli. Then it's Davy Carrera, Ghosted, Not Q, and David Camino from Dav Sanchez, Dominic Hudson, Gabo, Lil Buns, Thornburg, Wallace, Tommy, Quee, Nelson, Mark, Sola, Butler, Erickson, Hernandez, Micah, and Colby in the constructors standings. Heading into the 11th round of the championship, Andretti Green Racing leading the way in front of Chip Ganassi and KV Racing Lotus. Then it's Power Motorsport, Apex Pinnacle, Prima Power Team, Hyperdrive Racing, Revolution Racing, Aaron McLaren SP, Dragon Penske, and Sims Motorsport. We will see you guys next time then when the ERL IndyCar Series returns.